Today we want to talk about a new grammatical term. It's called voice. And for us, voice simply means whether something is active or passive. Now, this is a term that's going to apply to verbs. So from now on, we'll ask, is a verb active or passive voice? But first of all, what does active or passive mean? Copy these two English sentences. The truck hits the car. The truck is being hit by the car. Now think about that. Is there any difference between those two sentences? If so, what is the difference? Well, if you think about it, we've got truck, it's the subject in both sentences, and there's car at the end, so maybe they say the same thing. But maybe you realize, no, in the first sentence, the truck is the one doing the action. It's the truck driver who hits the driver of the car. This is called active voice. Active voice is when the subject actually does the action. In the second sentence, truck driver is just minding his own business, and suddenly here comes a car, and the car hits the truck. We say the truck is being hit by the car. This is passive voice. And passive voice means that the subject receives the action. What we need to talk about now is how that looks in Latin. And I only want to talk today about how to recognize passive voice. And really, I only want to talk about how to recognize passive voice for present, imperfect, and future tenses. And it's very, very easy. Passive recognition. Okay. Now, we're not going to talk today about how to make the passive voice forms, but simply how to recognize them. Okay? I want to go back to some old basic kind of endings. First person, second person, third person, and of course our singular and plural columns. And you know that sometimes first person singular has ended in O or sometimes the letter M. Second person singular has always been something ending with an S. Third person singular has always been something ending with a T. First person plural has always ended with MUS. Second person plural has always ended with TIS. And third person plural has always ended with NT. Those are the active endings. In fact, that's all that we've had so far has been active endings. For passive, we're simply going to change the O or the M to an R. We change the S to an RIS and the T to a TUR. We'll change the MUS to an MUR. We'll change TIS to MINI. We'll change NT to NTUR. So what you'll notice is that the endings now, they sort of look like the active. I mean, we still have a T here. We still have an MU in first person plural. But what really sets the passive endings apart is that they almost all have the letter R in there somewhere, or it's this really crazy wackadoodle form called mini, M-I-N-I. So it's either got an R in it or something really strange, M-I-N-I. And that's how you recognize passive voice. Now let's see this in a sentence. So maybe we've got some sort of adventure, and we've got some loot involved. Praeda ad reginam portabatur. Copy that sentence, underline the one and only verb, and identify its person, first, second, or third, its number, singular or plural, its tense, present, imperfect, future, or perfect, and its voice, active or passive. Go ahead and pause the video and do that now. What you should have done would be to underline portabatur. And based on our new endings, that TUR tells me that it's third person, singular. BA, we've been seeing that for a long time now. We know BA means imperfect. And The TUR again means that it's passive. So this is third person singular, imperfect, and passive. So what do we got? Well, we've got some pride here. We've got some loot. The loot. And what's our old helping word for imperfect tense? Was. Loot was. Here's the key for passive voice in English. We can use the words be, being, or been. Matter of fact, you might even want to write that down. For passive voice in English, we can use be, being, or been in our translation. We'll put that together. We have loot, was, being, whatever porto means, was being carried, where? Ad reginam, to the queen. And that's how to recognize passive voice for the tenses that we've had.